Every day. Every day I write the book of love. August 1st, 2024, I was describing my sentient stack and going ADHD. Um, so we've got the thinking machine, or we hope to. I mean, really, it may take 10 years, or maybe nobody will, including me, will ever get this implemented. But you've got your thinking layer, so now you got a thinking machine. Next comes AI, AI, yeah, yeah, yeah. We finally found the intelligence in AI. It's the layer after thinking. We're not there yet. There's no intelligence in AI. Remember this, because you'll hear me say it a lot. You know where the intelligence is in AI? It's in the human. And in developing self-oriented machines, I've identified a major blockage in configuration. Right now, we cannot get around it. Any machine we're running at some level, at some point, has to have had configuration. And you know the origins? You know the oranges? You know the oranges of configuration? Those guys behind me. No system, I'm telling you this as a senior systems developer, no system in existence can get away from configuration, and that means humans. I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it. Um, because I want self-managing systems, self-throttling systems. Basically, my system design approach is that a system has a homeostasis. And if you don't know what that is, go ask your mother. And so we want it to be able to push autonomously. We want it to be able to push the envelope of what it can do, its carrying capacities at all, load on the system. I was just thinking DigitalOcean has some kind of thing that's involved with load balancing. So you fire up a VM that load balances your, okay, that's cool. That's kind of advanced for where I'm at right now. But I can see the value in it. And but anyhow, my machines are supposed to be able to do that kind of stuff. Self-throttling, it can detect, oh, we're loading the system too heavily, back off. Hey, we seem to be able to push the envelope again, push the envelope. And some of the value on some of this stuff is, um, say more resources are added to the system. Okay, typically you would have to go in and reconfigure and, make it all happen, become part of the system. But here, rather, we could just throw the resources in, say, pay for some more droplets on DigitalOcean, and the system could pick it up and use it and expand to the full capacity that it can do. Or is accept because once again you need the human, at least initially, to come in and say what's acceptable. You know, don't overdo 20% of the system capacity to carry a load, as an example. So after we finally, this big celebration, we finally have created an intelligent machine, and it's not smoke and mirrors bullshit like current AI. After that is the cognition layer, and I get bounced all over the place trying to fit that in the stack and what does it really mean. But at each layer, well, okay, let me finish off first. Um, Cognition. And after the cognition layer, we finally have a machine mind. Yay! And it's not smoke and mirrors. After a machine mind, I doubt I'm going to take it further than that in actual implementation. But maybe you can. because after mind, the machine mind, is sentience. We have a shot at achieving sentience. Are you beginning to see why these nightmare thriller sci-fi movies are not reality at all? Not at all. If someone's trying to tell you that like robots are going to wipe out humankind or something like that, they're, oh boy, are they an idiot. They know nothing. They know nothing about technology. My story, and I'm sticking to it. So anyhow, sentience. Oh, that's fun. What after sentience? Well, I really don't know. Androids come to mind, but really, I doubt we'd talk androids. More like we'd be talking cyborgs. And intuitively, I always say the future is cyborg anyhow. So there you go. We've done the full stack, so to speak. You're welcome. And you better be writing this down because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around, and if you're going to try to cobble it together based on my recordings and my dozens and dozens of notebooks, um, good luck with that. So that's my model for developing a machine mind. Currently, I'm calling it Billionaire Mind Machine. I used to call it making a machine mind machine, or I was branding it as Quad M. Um, I don't know how far I'll get because, like our competitors in AI, I'm willing to start with smoke and mirrors because what the hell? That's all the competition is anyhow, right? So we can start with smoke and mirrors, but the difference is our intention. We intend to be developing behind those smoke and mirrors and being able to dissipate the smoke and take away the mirrors. And surprise, we're the real deal. We've actually got a machine mind. No, one does not. If you think I'm wrong, if you think we're past the infosys layer, prove me wrong. I would love you to tell me why I'm wrong. Please. um, I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Monk. So, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm calling it the Billionaire Mind Machine now, but I've been feeling rather arrogant and pompous lately, so I don't know. That might be touching people wrong. You silly, silly, egotistic people. Um, we're talking millions here. We're talking billions here. And these companies that are going to be the biggest thing from here in the next 100 years, they're talking being $1 trillion companies. So never mind the current crop of asshole billionaires. That's chump change. It really is. But it doesn't matter to me. It would be you that would be enjoying it and whoever you bring to the party, so to speak. So yeah, that's my work developing a machine. Oh, and it's going to take the whole internet, right? That's why I'm working in what's being called the cloud. It's actually cloud 3. It's not the cloud you think of. There's like two previous layers of clouds before we got into cloud 3. But But yeah, one of my projects is to develop a platform and base it on what I'm trademarking as the native cloud OS. It's a cloud native operating system for us to develop our D apps and bloated backends on and get some standardization. Basically, we're being our own internal authority, and I'm setting up the standards. And if we do that, I mean, again, we can be like a factory, we can be cranking stuff out uh, because we know the operating system we're working on, and we can trust it because we built it. Whenever you look at developing a use case into a system, you want to consider roll your own or buy off the shelf. And there's powers to both. But if you're going to buy off the shelf, you're trusting a vendor. If you roll your own, you've got power over it. You've got control over it. You've got ownership over it. The rub, therein lies the rub. Comparatively, it's a lot more expensive. So it gets tempting to, buy a droplet off of, or rent a droplet, I should say, off of DigitalOcean. But I've envisioned it all before. I mean, I've been at this internet stuff since before it existed. And certainly I looked at my own dedicated servers in my own server farm connecting to the internet with a T1 line. How do you think these web host outfits do it? Anything they can do, we can do. Um, Again, it comes back to cost benefit. But if we have a certain scale of economy, if our operations is dealing well, I think at one point I felt, we could very well be bringing in like 3 million gross a month and fairly quickly. Um, it might make sense to have our own server farm with a T1 connection to the internet. Pretty good cybersecurity wise. But also, and I say, well, is that too legacy for the Web3 development I want? Because the thing about Web3 is it's decentralized. So things like server farms no longer apply. But I want to wrap this up quickly. We might do server farms because we'll have our own mainnet. If you don't know what a mainnet is, go ask your mother. In fact, I intend to, within a like Cloud 2 virtualization environment, a test lab, I intend to set up our prototype for a mainnet. Um, so if we're gonna have our own mainnet and run it, it makes sense to the first 1,000 nodes or so could be in our server farm. We run the first 1,000 nodes and stuff, and then the rest of the nodes are from people that have adopted our platform or part. Well, we call it platform. We could call it cloud. There's basically a network of nodes, and however that's implemented, well, I just told you. I think. Anyhow, I want to get I want to bring our email system in house. Right now, HostGator's holding it hostage. So that's one of the first IT projects I need to task an intern with. Yeah, I've always had my own internet. I mean, I've always had my own email server and stuff, right? Gmail, Hot Topic, or Hotmail, or whatever it was. No, those are for burner and disposable account, right? Right, you grifters? They're for burner accounts and try to isolate your identity, isn't it? Trying to get away with your grift. Go away.